Both formative and summative data can be used during guided reading to make decisions for readers so that new books are within a child's zone of proximal development. There are a variety of summative data that can be collected to drive instruction. This data includes formal pre- and post-tests, such as a DRA2 given at the beginning and end of the year, as well as performance series or iReady results. These assessments measure overall growth of a reader. Formative data are especially designed to drive instruction and monitor progress. This includes running records and anecdotal notes based on reading behavior checklists and how the students are responding to instruction. There are 4 purposes of conferencing, and anecdotal notes should reflect the information gathered by the teacher in regards to the 4 goals of conferencing. Anecdotal notes document the specific reading behaviors of students. Literacy processing behaviors fall along a continuum. These behaviors are listed in checklist form in the back of Apprenticeship in Literacy. For example, a teacher is working with a group at a level 14 at the beginning of 2nd grade. The teacher notices that one student does not try anything when she comes to a point of difficulty, just appeals for help. According to the continuum on page 207, she should be able to demonstrate one or more of the following strategic behaviors: reread, make additional attempts, search through the word left to right, use word parts. The teacher should write down in her anecdotal notes that the student is appealing at point of difficulty. Right then, she could also write down what prompt the teacher uses and how the student responds. The prompts are tied directly to the behavior that the teacher wants to see, and it must be something that matches what the student will be able to do based on her behavior along the continuum. The notes teachers take during reading inform them as they plan for prompting. For example, with this student, the teacher would have observed the student saying words slowly, so the teacher knows the student is thinking about words in left to right order. The student also knows word parts, so the teacher will prompt the student to break the word into parts when she comes to a tricky word in a reading. The notes tell us as teachers what our next move will be. Running records should be administered weekly for students who are early and emergent readers, and every 3 to 4 weeks for transitional and fluent readers. These running records help with flexible, dynamic grouping, as well as help with book selection, book introductions, and one-on-one conferences. Recent familiar text should be used for running records. A cold read would be appropriate for progress monitoring to determine growth and flexible grouping. If you need further assistance with conducting or analyzing running records, please see the additional resource videos below. Depending on the type of reader, emergent, early, transitional, or fluent, you can find charts in Chapter 4 of Apprenticeship in Literacy that list behaviors of readers at each level. Reference figures 4.4, 4.5, 4.7, or 4.8, depending on the level of reader. These characteristics of readers might be supportive in data collection. The following 2 examples show teachers administering running records. Notice that Mrs. Slominski keeps a notebook log for these records and uses that log to drive her conference with the student following the reading. In this conference, she offers praise points and helps direct the student to use reading strategies to reread a missed word.
Using our whisper voices so that I can listen to Bethany. Alright, let's hear it.
I can see it. I built this house down. I can see it. The teddy bear. See the headphones in the wire. I can see it.
Okay, whisper voices.
See the zebra in the wire. I can see it too. I want it to see the lion in the wire. I can see it too. Blow this house. See the giraffe in the wire. I can see it too. The little girl in the water. I looking at where see the elephant in the water. The little girl is happy. Red puppy is happy too. White turtle in the wild. I can see the snake.
All right, Bethany, talk to me about your reading. What did you do really well as a reader today?
I pointed at the words and I listened.
You did. I noticed that you were doing a nice job with your pointing and matching, and that's something that used to be tricky for you. And how are you doing with that now?
Good.
You're doing a very nice job with that. Let's look here on this page. When you were reading, you said, let's see, right here you said, see the parrot in the wild. Remember when you said that? See the parrot? And when I look at the picture, I think that makes sense. It does look like a parrot. But
it starts with a B.
You took the words right out of my mouth. It starts with a B. So can that word be parrot if it starts with a B?
No.
So can you think about a word that would make sense in the sentence, but that would also look right? Bird. Will you try that word in the sentence and see how that works for you?
See the bird in the wire. I can see it too.
Okay, so the next time you go to read this book, how are you going to know if that word is bird or parrot?
I'm gonna just look at the words and make sure it's not a P.
Right, so that's that strategy of getting our mouth ready for that first letter of the word, right? You did a nice job with your reading today. Put your books away and take out your alphabet chart, please.